What's going on, everybody? I just wanted to give you guys a heads up and let you know that I actually fixed the issue I was having, and it was indeed clutch related. Now, here's the thing. Like, if you're having hard shifting, you definitely should do the shift star mod first, before you even attempt to start your motor. I mean, it's beneficial for you. Take my word for that. But now this here that I was experiencing was well beyond hard shifting. It was, in order to go from first to second gear, like, you really had to put some pressure on there. Like, force it into second. And that's not right. Now, if you're sure that you have your clutch cable adjusted and connected properly, and you're experiencing the extremely hard shift, what you'd want to do, bring it back to your driveway, okay? And if you're, I would say, probably maybe 170, 180 pounds and above, you're not going to notice one thing that it's doing, because your weight isn't going to allow it to let you know. But basically, put it into first gear, hold the clutch in with the clutch adjusted properly, get completely off the bike, and just hold it upright. And what you'll see is that it should start to creep ever so slightly forward, real slow. That's going to tell you that the clutch isn't disengaging all the way. And you probably got the same issue I do. Another sign would be when you put it in first gear and you go to take off, it's almost like you have a tow strap hooked to your bike and you're trying to tow something for the first time. So it's going to be hard to get it going. It's going to want to die unless you give it a lot of gas, which that's not right either. Now mine wasn't just hard shifting, it was extremely hard shifting. And like I said, as far as like the shift star goes, you need 3 washers. You're going to need a M6 washer, an M7 washer, and you're going to go to Value Home Center for all this. And you'll also need a 1.25 inch diameter washer with a 1/4 inch hole. Okay. Now, once you have the 1.25 inch washer in your hand, look through the lower bins at Value Home Center and find the 1.5 inch diameter washer with a slightly bigger center hole. All right. Now, it goes, when you install it, M6 washer, M7 washer, then you get the big washer, and then you put the bolt in. Now, once you put that in there, you got to be careful when you put the washer on that it isn't hitting the little shift D10 arm on the shift star. Okay, and the D10 arm is basically a little arm with a round wheel on the end of it. You want to look from over here back this way to make sure that washer is not touching the arm or pinning it up against anything. You want it to be free. You need space there so that arm can move and your tranny won't be hard to shift. Now most of the time that's the problem that people have. But like I said, I just gave you a description of some of the issues I was having. Okay, now if you're having something similar, how I fixed mine will fix yours. Now, I wasn't even sure I fixed it at first until I put it back together and decided to take it for a ride. So I didn't record it, and I apologize for that because I didn't think I fixed it. But with that said, I'll explain it to the best I can. Okay, now like I said, you have to know what you're doing in order to adjust the clutch cables and stuff. Okay, so you got to know what you're doing to start. And yes, you do need free play. You do need free play on this, and it's about a quarter. You can take a quarter out of your pocket and put it at the inside of the lever to where that kind of like a spacer holding the lever out. So if you got about that much, you're perfect. It's golden. You don't need to do nothing more. And obviously, in order to adjust the cable, this is your main adjustment down here. You have another on this particular cable. This is a finer adjustment, and this here is the real fine adjustment. Okay, so you got 3 ways to take it out. You can also take this loose, pick this arm up, move it back further, drop it back down in order to make your cable work. Okay, now the stock cable will work, but I like this better because you got a double nut locking the cable in place. It ain't going anywhere. That's why I bought the Nibby cable. But now on to the fix. And I'm sorry, it's taking a long time for this video, and it'll probably be at least 10 minutes because there's a lot to explain, and I'm trying to do it the best I can to help you guys out with the same exact issue. But you're going to take the cover off here, okay? Remove the cover. It's going to expose your clutch basket. You're going to see your pressure plate, all your clutches and plates and all that stuff, okay? At the end of your clutch basket, you're going to see 4 bolts, okay? You can take opposing ones off, take this one off, and then you take the top and bottom, or whatever two you prefer. You loosen them up a little bit, loosen this one up a little bit. You don't want it to get way cocked because you might break it, you know, so you got to be careful when you take that off. Just do it slow and steady. We'll put it that way. Everything you're going to be doing on this is slow and steady so you don't mess it up. Once you get that off, you're going to have the special tool to take off the clutch nut, okay? And it's a nut basically with 4 slots in it in the shape of a cross. You got a slot up top, bottom, left, right. Once you got that socket, take that nut off, okay? Now when you remove the clutches and the plates, you got to be very careful, okay, not to mix them up, and you have to put them back in there exactly how they go, whether it's clutch plate, or plate clutch. All right, but I'm pretty sure I remember that, and it was clutch first and then a plate. But you got to, like I said, you got to pay attention to the ending one as well, you know. So however you take those off, be very careful, okay? Like I said, take your time. It's not a rush. Once you get the clutches out, okay, you're going to leave the outer basket. The outer basket has slots cut in it where when you put your clutches in, your clutches have notches on the top of them, and they go into that basket, okay? And that's what holds the clutches from spinning freely on their own. Okay, now that outer basket that I'm talking about with the slots stays there. You're not even going to take that off. You're not going to do anything with it, okay? That's staying there. Once you get that basket out, okay, along with the clutches, there's like an inner basket where the pressure plate with the 4 bolts, okay, bolts into. That has to come out. Now, once you pull that out, okay, there's a washer on the very front, and it's okay, it's concave, it's shaped almost like, kind of like a moon, we'll say, okay? But you can't really mix that up because on the face of it, it will have stamped in it outside. When you see the outside, that faces towards you when you go to put it back together. Now, let's say you got the clutches out, that inner basket that the pressure plate bolts to, and you have the outer basket still there. You're doing perfect. Okay, once you get to that point, you're gonna look, and when you pull off that inner basket that I'm talking about, pay attention to the back of it, because there's a washer with 3 prongs on it, okay? And basically you have your center spline, and your center spline that all this sits on has teeth in it, okay? Has teeth cut out. That washer with the 3 prongs, pull that out. Behind that washer with the 3 prongs, there's another washer that has teeth cut into it, okay? Now, the one with the teeth cut into it has to be freely moving, okay? And how that washer works is it slides on over the shaft, okay? Once you get it on over the shaft, you're gonna turn it a little bit until you can't see the teeth on the shaft anymore. Once you rotate that washer to where you can't see the teeth, you take the washer, the 3-prong washer, you put it over the shaft. That 3-prong washer slides into the slots, okay, and it holds the spline washer from being able to rotate around on its own. Now, I think what my issue was, whenever they may have assembled this engine, okay, that spline washer somehow got cocked or jammed, okay, because once I got that 3-prong washer off, I tried to move the spline washer, but it was frozen. So I had to get a couple tools in there, you know, and free it up to where I could take it off. Once I took it off, I wiped it clean, both sides. I took a little bit of oil on my finger, rubbed some oil on both sides of it, put it on, okay, and like I said, you turn it to where the teeth that rode in the spline, you turn it so that way you can't see the teeth anymore, and they're locked behind the spline teeth, so it can't come out. That 3-prong washer goes on next, and then that goes in the holes to hold that spline washer from spinning. Now, once you get that back, then you're going to go ahead and, as a precautionary measure, you can take all your clutches and plates and separate them by hand. Excuse me, that way you know that you're good to go there and they aren't sticking. Okay, that's what you're going to do. Then you put everything back together. Once you get to your pressure plate, okay, you put that on the same way you took it off. Okay, you start a bolt in the top or the bottom or the left or the right. However, it doesn't matter. They have to be opposite from each other. Okay, and you tighten a little bit over here, tighten a little bit over here, back and forth, back and forth. And once it hits bottom, okay, you're just going to give it a light little tap. That's all. You don't need to go crazy pressure with it. Just a nice little bump of the hand. Tighten them all up, reassemble everything, and you should be good at that point. Now, I mean, if you have any questions, you know, feel free to ask. Again, like I said, I apologize. I didn't make a video doing it because I didn't think I fixed it. But it did fix it. And now it actually shifts the way it should. You know, I can actually get neutral now. You know, yes, I know it's hard to find neutral on a new motor. Okay, it always is, but it's not like I had. You know, generally I can either A, put it in first gear and I'll use my hand, bend over and click it up ever so slightly, which I can do now. Or B, I'll put it into second gear and use my foot and click it down a half a click in the neutral, which I can also do now. You know, and then the shifting now is much better. It is smooth. Like the motor is awesome now. You know, totally worth it. I'm glad I was able to figure it out. But I just hope that this helps people that had the same issue I did. You know, because it was pretty frustrating. You know, especially I bought the motor off of the guy and immediately he tells me no warranty. You know, and I said, well, listen, you know, I understand no warranty and all, but, you know, no warranty kind of doesn't apply when it's out of the box. You know, I mean, if that's the case, then I wouldn't even have bought it from you. I would have bought it somewhere else, you know, but obviously he never told me that. But luckily I was able to fix it, you know, and I was able to, I've been talking to Moto Cheese. You know, he's a pretty popular YouTuber. And I helped him out and, you know, get a motor and all that stuff. Luckily, his was okay. Thank goodness. I'm glad that it was mine that was messed up and not his, because I would have felt terrible, you know, for recommending this idiot. And then, you know, that wouldn't have been good. I'd been pretty mad about that. I'm still mad, but it would have been much worse. But hopefully somebody will find this video who's having the same issue as me. You know, but like I said, hop off the bike, put it in first gear, and see what it does. If it's slowly creeping forward, that's your issue. You know, because the clutch isn't disengaging completely, because that washer in there is either jammed or whatever the case may be. I don't know what causes it. You know, I don't know. I can't explain that. It's fixed. You know, so hopefully this helps somebody out there who is having the same issue as me and pulling their hair out. But I appreciate all the subscribers, the new subscribers, and I definitely appreciate the comments. You know, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask. You know, comment down below. No problem at all. I know this video is kind of long, but it took a minute to explain in the most detail that I could to try to help you fix your motor. Now, like I said, if you got any questions, just ask. Not an issue. You know, if I do end up needing to make a video and show you how to do it because you're not too sure, well, feel free to comment. You know, I'll have to take this all apart again, drain the oil, and go through a lot of crap, but I'll do it to help somebody out. But I guess till next time, I definitely appreciate it, and you guys take care. I'll see you on the next one.